When it comes to villains in One Piece, none of us highly regarded or highly as feared as the likes of Kaido. While holding the title of the strongest creature, Kaido is considered one of the strongest threats within One Piece and possibly the strongest threat Luffy has ever had to face. But even while knowing all of this, how does he stack up against Vegeta and Nappa when they landed on Earth? First things first, we'll start with the Saiyan stats and then we'll move on to Kaido's stats to kind of like compare the two. Also, this video will be on manga canon, not anime canon for Dragon Ball. In terms of calculable speed feats, the first major speed feat we see in Dragon Ball Z happens in chapter 14, which is Piccolo destroying the moon. Now, as much as this feat is super strong, the speed part is what I actually want to focus on here, which is the fact that he actually reaches the moon really quickly. Now, in terms of time frame, I'd use around 5 seconds based on the fact that it took about a page to reach the moon, and on top of that, Great Ape Gohan didn't have enough time to do any more damage to the planet in that time frame. So based on that, I was able to get around 25% the speed of light. Now, we know based off some pretty simple inverse scaling that characters like Raditz and Cyberman should scale above this, and then characters like Nappa should scale above that. So rel plus to FTL Nappa is definitely not ridiculous. And on top of that, we know someone like Goku in base is faster than the likes of Nappa, and then even in Kaiken times 2 was still slightly slower than Vegeta. So if I had to give an answer, I'd say Vegeta is anywhere from 1.1 to 3 times FTL. Now let's talk about AP. Yes, it is true Piccolo did destroy Moon in super casually, and moonbusting seems to be almost unimpressive by Dragon Ball standards. This was seemingly at the start of Piccolo's training, meaning something like Raditz or a Cyberman will probably be way stronger than this. Meaning someone like a Cyberman is producing moon level plus energies. And we know even characters like Krillin are capable of killing multiple Cybermen at once, and Krillin pales in comparison to the likes of Nappa. So I'm super okay with the idea that Nappa's around small planet level, if not maybe a little higher. Now before we continue on Vegeta scaling, we have to take a second to talk about data books, specifically the Manga Legendario. In the Manga Legendario, it's stated that you need a power level of 10,000 to destroy Earth. Now, a big thing for me is I don't take the data books in Dragon Ball super seriously, especially the Manga Legendario, just solely off the fact that the Manga Legendario has specific pages that are from the words of the author, and then the other pages aren't, which makes me think that they're just from an executive or some type of worker at Bird Studios like it seemingly implies, and I don't give a about their opinion, if I'm being honest. This is a huge defining factor between things like the Manga Legendario and things like the Naruto data books and the Vivre cards. One's direct work from Bird Studios, the other's direct work from their authors. Now back to scale, we know Vegeta should be small planet plus he's several times stronger than Nappa, and then with the Galaga he should be easily planetary as he was going to destroy Earth. And on top of that, we know the Ozaru form, the Grade 8 form, is a 10 times multiplier. This is stated multiple times across canon. So if I had to give a range, I'd say someone like Vegeta in his Grade 8 form should be around planetary plus. And in Grade 8, I'm actually pretty confident he doesn't get any slower, as he's still able to intercept Goku pretty casually. So yeah, Ozaru Vegeta should be around planetary plus and FTL. Now that we went over the Saiyans, let's talk about Kaido and his inverse and crossverse scaling and see how he stacks up to the likes of Vegeta. First things first, we know someone like Doflamingo has a pretty similar speed feat to what Piccolo does when he hits the moon by cutting the Fujitora meteor. This was calculated around 17 to 20% speed of light, making these two characters pretty comparable when it comes to speed. And on top of that, we see someone like Sanji able to do an FTL feat by saving a robot from a Seraphim laser. This happened in one of the most recent chapters. The reason why this is so important is because Sanji is not a god tier Yonko level threat. So I think it makes total sense to say someone like a Yonko or an Admiral would scale to this, as they are pinnacles in the verse when it comes to fighting ability and seemingly god tiers. And on top of that, with the use of Future Sight, we know Kaido should be able to outspeed pretty much any character that's relative in speed to him, which means the Saiyans might have a lot of trouble as they are not clearly blitzing Kaido. And in terms of AP scale, we know someone like Law and Kid should be inferior to the likes of Kaido still. Law was able to clash with the Guru Guru no problem. The Guru Guru from Blackbeard was able to create a large planet feat. The feat that's so impressive in Marineford is the fact that Blackbeard was able to create tsunamis that reached the Sabati archipelago from Marineford. This is multiple horizon distances, and as you know, the One Piece planet is huge, so horizon distance is ginormous in One Piece. That means in terms of AP, I'd say Kaido is physically stronger than the likes of Great Ape Vegeta, which gives him the advantage over Nappa easily. And Future Sight would give a huge speed advantage to Kaido, which means I probably do think even if there is two of them, Nappa and Vegeta would lose that fight. I'm not trying to deny the power of a 2v1, but at the end of the day, Kaido's Future Sight grants a huge advantage in speed, and on top of that, in AP, he can one-shot both as he seemingly dozens of times stronger than base Vegeta's stats.